not quite so bad. All right, so we're live. If you're wondering, the camera is over here.
Oh, okay.
If you wonder why you're looking up here and not looking at it, yeah, super fun. Truro Buzz started a live video. We did! Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning then. Is that wrong? At 7 o'clock at night? Of course it's 7. I wanted to look at my watch. Hello, and thank you for tuning in. I cannot believe we are approaching the middle of December. Last month of the year. Who's freaking out? Anybody? Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. But that's okay, because it's almost Christmas time, and who doesn't love Christmas time? But before we get to the holiday talk, it is Wednesday, which means the newsletter is coming out tomorrow. If you haven't signed up for that, head on over to our website at trurobuzz.com or on the Facebook page. It's a snapshot of all the things that are happening throughout Colchester County. If you're looking for stuff to do, if you're looking for festivals, music events, family events, it's all in there right in your inbox every Thursday morning. So sign up for that, trurobuzz.com. While you're over there, check out our local gift guide. We put together an awesome curated guide of all kinds of local stuff all throughout Colchester County. If you're looking for gifts for hard to buy for people, certain kind of genres, if you've got the people who love spirits, who love handmade, who love edible, like candy, chocolate, things like that are made, check out the gift guide. It has got something for everyone and supporting local small business. That is on trurobuzz.com. Okay, I hope you're keeping toasty on this lovely, crisp but not terrible Wednesday, December evening. I don't know if anyone else is excited. We don't have snow yet, but every morning I walk my dog. I'm super excited. It's not snowing yet. But we have these lovely guests here with us this evening. It's always nice when I'm not here alone. So we have David and Esther, and we're here talking about the Truro Colchester Welcome Committee. Why don't you introduce yourselves? David, you want to start?
Yes, I'll start. I'm David Phillips, born and raised in Truro. Went away for a few years and now I'm back, and I lead the Truro Colchester Partnership for Economic Prosperity, which we affectionately call TCPEP. And we're primarily responsible for growing the economy of the region, working with stakeholders and people all over the community to grow the economy, create more wealth in the region, and attract people to come and live here. And that's why I'm involved in the Welcome Network, because part of making people come here and part of helping people want to stay here is making sure that they feel welcome.
100%. And it's hard to move no matter where it is. So having a committee like this is something people really need to know about. But before we get into that, Esther?
Hi everyone, I'm Esther Bejarano, and I'm originally from Mexico, but I've been in Canada for about 13 years, and I've worked with newcomers in the past with the YMCA of Greater Halifax, Dartmouth, but now I'm with the North Shore Local Immigration Partnership, and so my lens has been newcomer support. How can we support them with settlement, integration, creating welcoming communities for them? So this project, this initiative just felt, yes, this is exactly what we need, and I want to be part of it.
You're a perfect person to kind of bridge those two worlds.
Exactly. I feel, and being an immigrant myself, I understand the struggles and challenges, and so yeah, it's a really good fit for me.
Awesome. So if people aren't familiar with what the Truro Colchester Welcome Network is, do you want to explain to people what it is?
Do you want to do that?
Esther? Sure.
Esther's our chair.
Gotcha. There you go.
I'm the co-chair. So very simply, it's exactly what the name is. It's a welcome network. And so the idea behind that was anybody that's new to the community, please, make sure you connect with us, because the whole concept was, how do we know when new people are here? Where do they go? Who kind of directs them to, for example, a settlement worker, or go to someone like at the library. Oh, they'll guide you and orient you. Who are these champions in the community? Who are these first point of contacts? How do we know they're here? And if people can kind of help out with identifying them, if they want to be identified, that is, then let's create a network that we can do that with in a more streamlined process. So we want to make sure that people that are new to the community can find a place where they can get orientation, find out where the best coffee is, what's the most fun hiking trail. Did you know you could ride a fat bike in the winter? It's a lot of fun. There's so many things you could do here, but you don't, people just don't know what they don't know. So the idea was, how can we kind of put the wonderful, things to do in Colchester County, how can, kind of put that out there, make sure people are really tapping into it, and how can we get the community that's lived here for a long time to get involved in that welcoming and orientation process. Because what we've noticed even before COVID was the isolation and loneliness, especially when you have people moving to the area that don't have any actual community connections or friends or anything, right? Keeping them here rooted, they might feel like, oh, I don't know anyone. And if you're not the kind of person that's extroverted to kind of look out and start to just go to everything, then you're kind of stuck and you don't know how to get in, right? So this is a really great way to create a social network, get to go to places you never even knew existed, and start to make those relationships, build those connections, hopefully to the point where you feel like, oh wow, this may not be my family, that I was born into, but they're now my new family. We eat together, and I really want to stay here because I feel like I belong here now, right? So that's the, I guess my rambling is to explain that's kind of what the feeling is around this welcome network.
Well, that's a really good point, because I moved here from away, but I moved here because I had family here. So when I moved, I automatically had someone that's like showing me around, telling me where to go and things like that. So I can't imagine trying to amalgamate to a new country, new culture if you didn't have that. So like, it's kind of amazing that every place doesn't have one of these.
Exactly, right? So, and we were very excited that as we saw other communities having this type of network, we thought we want that too, and they really supported us in creating it. And so if other other communities want to do the same, we're happy to put that out there, because we want to make sure people have, if it doesn't have to be exactly like ours, but to be able to have that that place where they can feel safe, like, okay, I'm here and I'm going to meet people, and that's the intent. That's, we want people to understand that, yeah, we can have lots of fun.
Because you're not bothering anyone. This is what we're here for.
People want to show you around and to their favorite spot.
Who doesn't love, exactly. It's like, who doesn't love to show off the community they live in, like their favorite place to go get Thai food, their favorite farmer's market vendor, things like that. Like, that's fantastic.
Well, and thinking of places, all the cool things that we have here. So like I mentioned, I was born and raised here. Went away for 32 years and came back. And it's a very different community than the one I grew up in.
Oh my
When
gosh.
I was a kid, it was pretty quiet. It was very white. It was very male. It was older. It skewed very much older. Coming back to Truro and seeing that it's so much more diverse. There's so many new cool businesses, cool activities, cool things to do. And here's the interesting thing about that. That most of that stuff is being driven by new people in the community.
And a lot of people that have moved back. Like
And
yourself.
people are coming back, but people are coming with fresh ideas. People are coming and looking at the community in a whole new way. And those of us who have lived in other communities know that diversity makes a community better, right? And the more people from away that we can get living here and bringing their life experience and their cultures and their
food, please bring your
their
food. Those are my favorite things.
The food is a great
Yes,
example. I mean, when you look at Parasha and Campetinos and the
India
2
Hut.
Thai restaurants in Truro, that was unthinkable when I was a kid. It's a very different place, and we want more of that, more of that.
And you know what? Even since I've been here for 8 years, and where we were at when I moved here versus now, it's incredible the evolution that's happened.
Yeah, and well, to Esther's point, welcome committees or welcome networks aren't a new thing. But in the old days, I'm not even going to define the old days because most people think it was when I was a kid. But back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, people were just generally more open, more welcoming. They left their doors unlocked, all of that. The world's changed a lot. COVID kept us all in our homes for the last few years. Other circumstances in communities cause you to feel a little less safe, a little less trusting of your neighbors and that kind of thing. But there used to be the welcome wagon, you know, when a
I
new
haven't
person.
heard that term in a long time.
Well, no, because that's from like the
Yeah.
50s, right? But
Yeah.
the welcome wagon, when you moved into a neighborhood, somebody would show up with a basket.
Mm-hmm.
So we think of the Truro Colchester Welcome Network as a welcome basket on steroids, right? And our objective.
We don't just do it; we do it in maximum effort.
That's right. And the objective is when people move into the community, they feel like this is where they're meant to be, that they're welcome here, that they're supported here, and that we want them to stay. We came up with a new tagline in the summer.
Yeah.
It's good to be home.
Oh, I love that.
And so it speaks to the people who have been living here. It speaks to people who lived here before, and it speaks to newcomers who are coming and making this their home.
So, if anyone's unclear with the term newcomer, what do you define as a newcomer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So pretty much anyone that's new to the community. There's a saying that you like to say whether they're from Stellarton or Singapore.
Singapore,
Right?
yeah.
Stellarton or Singapore. Yeah, those are two vastly different places. Well, that's good to know. So at this point, who's involved with the Truro Colchester Welcome Committee?
Well, so the initiative was launched by TCPEP, by the partnership, and we started by making calls to people like Esther and other organizations around the community, and I would say the response was phenomenal. I mean, everybody came to the table right away.
Wow.
And was very enthusiastic and passionate about it. So we have LIP, Esther's organization, TCPEP, CBDC Noble was involved, the Chamber, the REC, Community Health Boards, the Y-Reach, the municipalities, Truro, Colchester, Millbrook's involved. I think we're going to get Stewiacke involved as well. The Francophone community, Truro Pride, the Connector, the Northern Connector program. What am I missing?
And we have the community navigator from the province as well.
That is a lot of partners.
And we want more. We want more, organizations stepping up and realizing, that it's really important to create a soft landing for people coming to the community. It benefits everybody. And we're looking for volunteers.
Right, so that's something we should definitely speak to. So on top of all these entities, you do need volunteers for this, for the newcomers. So what does that entail if anyone's interested in getting involved?
Yeah, I can speak to that. So it really depends on how much time you want to give. There's no set, you must do this every week. It's pretty much, what do you want to do? What is interesting to you? What would you like to get out of the network? How many hours do you want to put into it? And hopefully we can divide the county into 4 different quadrants, just the way the community health boards are divided, so that we can have some smaller localized groups. People know kind of like their niche, right? Like they know where's the best antique store in Great Village, for example. They can do that better when they live there versus somebody who's in town like me.
Right.
And so the idea is to be able to have, match newcomers with a volunteer based on their interests, and then kind of have them do one-on-ones if they like, or we could do, we're also thinking of doing some bigger events where we can kind of alternate in locations, Truro, Tamagush, somewhere in the Stewiacke, for example, just kind of alternate for different locations so that everybody has a chance to explore the different areas, and also for people to just be able to get together. Like it could be a potluck with international food, right? Like we could get to taste everybody's food.
I love that.
Amazing. And music and food.
I mean, that brings all of us together, especially in Nova Scotia.
Oh, absolutely. So it's still, we just launched it this year, so there's, some things that we're still kind of trying to see, what is this going to look like? And the more volunteers that we get, and the more newcomers connect with us to say, we would like to see this. This is what we would like to see in our community. We want to take on your ideas and your feedback so that we can incorporate that. Because this is for everyone. We want everybody to enjoy it and have fun. It's not like a job. It's we want it to feel like it's organic and people are having fun and learning from each other and building some new family or new friends. So
this needed to happen.
Well, I mean, growth and immigration is a huge thing that's been happening over the last 3 years.
It's important on so many levels. So all of these organizations got together to get it off the ground. it was supposed to be launched at the end of September, but our friend Fiona changed all that.
They
So
sure did.
the official launch will be in the new year, but we're currently actively recruiting volunteers. We've got several already. But the idea is that it'll be a volunteer-led organization. So we'll always have a central group that is kind of looking after the money and doing the fundraising and organizing things and all that. But really, the idea is that it'll be driven within communities, like South Colchester and Stewiacke, North Colchester and Tatamagouche, West Colchester, Great Village, Parsboro, those places, and of course Truro.
Right.
So that's the long-term vision. And then the even longer-term vision is to make being a welcoming community a natural, organic thing, right? It's Nova Scotia has always been known as being a very warm and friendly place, not hugely welcoming to newcomers. But when you see how important it is that we have new people coming into our province and coming into our community, then you understand how important it is to make those people feel like they belong here and that they're welcome here and that we're happy to have them here.
Right. If you're just tuning in, we're here with David and Esther talking about the Truro and Colchester Welcome Committee here in Colchester. It's about bringing in new people to the community, helping them feel welcome and adjust to the new surroundings, where the new places are, getting acclimated, so to speak. We were just touching on the fact that they do need volunteers, and we often have people reach out to us and say, like, I want to do stuff for the community, what can I do? So it's really good to know that you are actively recruiting and that there's no fixed, what that looks like is like, well, you have to commit 5 hours a week or anything like that. Your donation of time could be all kinds of different things depending on what you are willing to donate for time. So how would they get involved? How would they get in touch with you guys if they were interested in volunteering?
We do have a Facebook page, and they can send
Which is
us a
tagged
message.
in our Facebook post, FYI.
And you can reach us through there. I'm one of the co-chairs, so you can reach out to me directly if you like as well. I'm on Facebook, and I'm one of the people that answers anyway from the Facebook page. So that would be the best way to reach us.
Awesome. So there's no set time commitment. If you are interested in volunteering, just have a conversation, see what they're looking for, what you can bring to the table. They'd be happy to hear from you. I'd like to talk about this logo. So if you can see
It's
that
nice,
we're
right?
all wearing this logo. We've got a color version behind my head as well as the black and white version. This is a really beautiful design. What can you tell me about it?
It is very nice.
It was, so we looked at a few different ones, but one of the more clever people on our board came up with the idea of a weave, like weaving a community together. It also sort of, when I look at it, I think of our Celtic heritage and history, but you can also see Mi'kmaq heritage in there. So we wanted something that was going to speak to all of the different groups that kind of drive our community. And this color one represents all the colors of the various different organizations that are involved and the municipalities. So we're really proud of the logo. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really nice. I love that it looks so nice in black and white and in the color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's a nice hat too.
It is a nice hat. It is very Celtic. I didn't think about that at the time when I looked at it. I was totally thinking about weaving, but yeah, I can see the side of Celticness to it as well.
It's interesting though too. We've already been out in the community and talking to people, and it's like you guys said. There's a lot of pride in this community, and there's an increasing amount of stuff to do, especially if you're an outdoorsy person, but also, if you like physical fitness, if you like good food.
All of which you can find in the Truro Buzz newsletter. If you haven't signed up for it already, just throwing that out there.
Just saying,
Just
right?
saying.
But there's people out there who want to show off their community. There's people out there who want to meet new people. We've all been isolated for so long.
God.
So it's not even, and we talked about this, it's not even just about the new people to the community. It's about getting people who have lived here all their lives out and engaging with friends and neighbors and new friends again. And making sure that we're all really seizing all of the opportunities that are available to us here for a happy life.
Absolutely. We do have a comment there from Victor. He's glad to hear. Happy to help with guided hikes, coffee, chat. Been in Truro since 1988.
There you
Wonderful. Well, we're going to want to get in touch with you, Victor. Thank you so much for reaching out.
That's why we're here tonight. Thank you.
I know, Victor. I wonder if it's the same Victor. Thanks, Victor. Definitely reach out to us. And I forgot to mention we do have a website as well.
All right,
And
throw it
people
out there.
can click on it to either be a volunteer or
It's welcome to TruroColchester.ca.
CA.
I hate when you have to take that moment of the conversation.
Yeah.
I do it all the
We
time.
argued about that too.
So are you offering programming through this as well? Through the committee?
Yes, we are. And I think, and we're very open to hearing feedback from people. Obviously, if you're going to be volunteering, we will be asking for, some background checks and so on, as well as, definitely having a conversation about what is it that you want to do and an orientation of what is this going to look like? What am I getting myself into? And I hope that process is fun for everyone. So I kind of forgot your question already.
Programming. Are you
Yes,
doing-
programming.
I do that all the time.
I'm like,
I know I have a point. It's back there somewhere, but I had one.
So far we've focused, and to Esther's point, we're completely open. Like Victor, the idea of adding a component where people are going on guided hikes, we're open to whatever people want to bring to the table. Originally, what we've been thinking about, it really falls into three categories. The first is events, and until we have good representation around the whole region, we'll coordinate those events. We've been very lucky to get generous support from the municipalities and from some different organizations, so we've got some money. So we'll be organizing some central events, and eventually events will start to pop up around the region. And what shape will those events take? It's going to be up to the volunteers what they want to help us pull off. The other thing is a buddy system. So people who want to kind of meet a newcomer and then and their family and take them out and show them the community, help them find a plumber, help them figure out what bank they want to work with, help them find a doctor, help them figure out how to buy groceries, all of that stuff. Get them out involved in the community, show them around. That's the part I'm most excited about, is people getting together and doing stuff together. And then the third thing is a web-based resource. So that'll have links to every resource imaginable for a person moving into the community. There'll be lists of doctors, there'll be emergency numbers, there'll be lists of all kinds of different resources that they can access to help smooth and soften their landing when they arrive in the community.
I can't tell you how important it is to have the guided hikes, Victor, because when I first moved here and started exploring Victoria Park, I was afraid to go too close to sunset because I was afraid I would get lost somewhere and have to call for help because it is so vast and there are so many trails and they are so long. So you're definitely onto something there. Craft Beer Biker says, Mike, I'm sorry, I can't read that. Knowlton from Hub Cycle puts on guided hikes in Victoria Park. Thank you so much. On Monday nights. Excellent. My God, is that
thanks,
needed.
Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
He does a fat bike.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
they do a lot of group rides too. There's a lot of group activities like that, whether people are going for group walks, they have group bike rides, there are women bike rides. There's so many different things that you might not find just on your own when you go out. There's so many resources. Thank you, Erin. I'm outing your real name. Is there anything else you'd really like people to know about the Welcome Network, whether it's people who might be interested in getting involved with it or making use of it?
Right. I'd like to talk for a minute about our need for people. So back in the 80s and 90s, Colchester County was growing at 4 or 5% every year. That's really amazing growth. I mean, it was really becoming a very vibrant community. The growth kind of tanked going into the 2000s, and now since 2017, I think we've turned the corner into positive growth again, and it's still a very low number, but we're growing.
That's about when Truro Bus started. I'm just saying.
There you go. TC Pep as well.
Exactly.
Just saying.
High five to us.
But the Premier has recently announced that he wants to double the population of the province by 2060. That's a pretty ambitious goal.
That is a lofty goal.
It
so
is.
We just got over 1 million now.
It is, and every community needs to do its part. And I'm sure there's people out there saying, why do we need new people? Why do we need more people? Why do we need immigrants? It's crowded enough here, blah, blah, blah. But there are really good reasons why we need those people. The rest of Canada is growing more quickly than Nova Scotia is. So as Alberta and Ontario and British Columbia, as their populations grow faster than Nova Scotia's what I'm going to call share of voice at the national table becomes lower. We get less and less attention. We're considered less and less relevant. So from an economic point of view, it's important to be growing. My organization is responsible for supporting and growing the business community. Businesses need people to work. And, everybody's seeing right now with this great retirement of the baby boomer generation that, stores are working staggered hours, service is not as good as it used to be because there aren't enough people working. We need to fix that because that's going to have a devastating effect on the economy. We need people coming in. And there's other reasons that I think are even more important as to why we need new people. Because it's like I said earlier, all of the exciting things, most all of the exciting things that are happening in our community right now are being driven by people who have been here less than 10 years. And diversity expands your perspective on life, makes you a better person. It brings more experience. You don't have to get on a plane and travel to all these different places. You can have these experiences here. You can eat Indian food here and Thai food here. You can go
And I love it.
to
I love
Bollywood
it.
and just become a more whole person in a way. I lived in Toronto for a few years, and say what you want about Toronto. I know not everybody's a fan of Toronto, but having spent a few years there, I can tell you it's the most culturally diverse city in the world. And there's no tension, there's no friction. Everybody embraces each other's cultures, and they learn from them, and they celebrate them, and it makes the community better. And that's, I think, the most important reason why we've started this Welcome Network.
I've been traveling the province the last 2 years on a separate project, and a lot of the people we have stopped and talked to doing some really cool things come from a ways. Like people that have settled here, and either they're bringing things of their culture or whatever their business was that was something we didn't have here, and it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, I highly recommend you get out and explore some new businesses that are out around Nova Scotia. 'Cause
Totally.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Are you talking about secret Nova Scotia?
I will definitely. I mean, not so much from a come from away, but that's a really good way to explore northern Nova Scotia once we reopen again in the spring.
Just saying.
Secret Nova Scotia, plug, plug, plug.
We're very lucky to live in this incredible part of the
Oh
world.
my gosh.
And, a lot of us take great pride in sharing it with other people.
Well, we were speaking earlier. I said, if you're familiar with Truro Buzz, which I hope you are if you're on here, I would never have done this from the community that I came from. I didn't have this connection with the place that I grew up. I love it, don't get me wrong. But something about when I moved here, the business community, the people here, the events, everything was just so inclusive and incredible, and everyone just wanted to get involved with other people. They want to bring people into the community. They want to support the people who are here. Really is something special we've got going on here. So this Welcome Committee is really just another extension of that.
Well, and it's people like you who have added to the vibrancy of the community, so we're grateful for that.
Thank you, David. It's actually, you would be really familiar with TC Pep if you're a fan of Truro Buzz as well, because we wouldn't exist without the support we've gotten from you guys as well. So it's all, see, that's what it is. This is why it works so well here. This is it. This is it. Actually, I remember one of the first times I met you too, when you came, when the first opened that, I want to say satellite office, I think was for you, because I think it was a chamber event that you would come in and you were talking about. It was like, well, I'm an office of one, so doing my best here. And I remember you stuck out of my mind, just good personality, some of the way you had talked about your business and stuff. Like, I'm really excited our paths have crossed so many times in those years.
They have, yes.
Yeah, because how many years have you been in this area now?
8. I think.
Yeah, so I think it was like shortly after I moved here, which was 8 years ago.
Oh, that's funny.
I know, right?
And
then the community started going up. Okay. But wonderful.
But I think that's a very important thing to say, is that there could be a correlation there.
Yeah, right? Exactly. The stars aligned, you're welcome, and here we are. And now we're ready to welcome so many more people into this awesomeness that is Colchester County.
And surprise, David, Alicia's going to do a tattoo for you today while people are watching, just to kind of get a bit more attention.
Alicia already did the tattoo for me, but it's a little
she?
too personal to show on TV. For the
We
internet.
won't share. We'll look at it
It's
later.
not pornographic or anything.
Well, before we close it off, is there anything else you really want people to know about this welcome committee? You're looking for volunteers. It's open to anyone from Stellarton to Singapore. You don't necessarily have to be a newcomer to the country to be involved with the Welcome Network.
Exactly. And there may be some people here that may not think of themselves as newcomers. They're like, oh, well, I've been here over 10 years, I'm not a newcomer, but I really don't know anyone. I'm not connected in any way. I would love to participate in this, but I'm not new. Like, we're not here to send people away. If you want to participate and you're not really familiar with the community, please connect with us, because then you can, some newcomers, they're going to come as newcomers and you're going to learn all these things, and then you're going to want to share them with everybody else. So that's one way of kind of, full circle. Like,
absolutely.
People are going to share with you, but you're also going to give back. I see that all the time with newcomers who move to the area. As soon as they get help and they're told, like, this is where you find this and so on, when new people come in, they eventually support with the orientation, the settlement, and they know where things are, and they kind of build their own little network.
Plus, they have that experience to add to it. It's like, I've been where you are.
Yes.
I have been a newcomer here, and this is how I've adjusted. This is what worked for me.
Exactly. And if they're from, for example, I have a friend who's from Brazil, and every time somebody from Brazil comes, I connect them, and they're like, okay, there's other Brazilians in Truro. They're like, there's other Brazilians in Truro.
I know, right?
And so they tell each other, this is where I find this food that we cook in our country, right? Like, this is where you can go, and this is where we go to hang out, and then they get together. And I mean, a lot of, not just the Brazilians, but other groups do exactly the same thing. So, but how would people know that there's other groups if you just got here, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, well, you just gotta find us. If you can find us, we'll help you kind of navigate your new home. So we want to make sure that people are aware. Like Mike was talking about, the guy, I know that Hub Cycle is constantly doing like guided hikes. And so if you don't want to go by yourself, I would find it extremely boring going by myself. I would just be like, I'm tired, but if you go with the group, then you're like, let's go, like it motivates you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to people about this. Check out the Truro Colchester Welcome Network, whether you're a newcomer, you've been here for a while, you're looking to connect to the community, or if you want to volunteer in whatever capacity that looks like, definitely get in touch with them on the website, which was Truro Colchester Welcome Network.
Welcome to TruroColchester.ca.
Welcome. There you go. We'll put that in the comments as soon as I get this live. Or also on the Facebook group, which is tagged on the Facebook post. There's lots of ways that you can volunteer and get involved. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter, and maybe you'll see some more about the Welcome Committee there, too.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays, and have a good rest of your week.